Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the latest movie written and directed by auteur-filmmaker Quentin Tarantino. It takes place, of course, in Hollywood 1969 and follows a fictional actor played by Leonardo DiCaprio and his close friend and stuntman played by Brad Pitt. Leo's character, Rick Dalton, is a washed-up alcoholic who laments the passing of his glory years in the 50s and 60s as a popular Western star.
It's official, old buddy. Well, has been.
Pitt's character, Cliff Booth, meanwhile, is becoming a bit too old for stunt work, getting by as Dalton's personal assistant. DiCaprio and Pitt are both very good in the movie. The two have great chemistry together and complement each other well. Leo's character is a guy who's known for playing cool-headed cowboys on screen, but in real life is kind of a nervous wreck, while Brad Pitt's character is someone who actually does sort of walk and talk like a cowboy, but whose own life is far less glamorous. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is extremely laid back compared to Tarantino's previous movies. This is easily the most restrained entry in his filmography since Jackie Brown in 1997. It's got comparatively a lot less of the filmmaker's signature nail-biting intensity or over-the-top violence and shock value. If I had to pick a genre that fits this movie more than anything else, I'd say it's a dramedy? The majority of the film is spent just observing a couple of days in the lives of its main characters, following them around and watching them hang out and go about their daily business. The plot frequently goes off on these fun little tangents where the characters will just be doing everyday things like listening to music at home or even just watching TV, but it's always entertaining. There's a 3 or 4 minute scene where Brad Pitt is just feeding his dog, and it was one of my favorites in the film.
At some different points in time, I'd thought of a more melodramatic storyline, but I actually thought it would be interesting to just have a situation where I don't have to come up with a story. It's just a day in the life.
As usual with Quentin Tarantino, the screenplay is top-notch, and a lot of the dialogue is fantastically funny. However, that's not to say that the film shies away from darker subject matter. This movie also dips in and out of the story of the Manson family, a real-life cult led by Charles Manson, who all live together on a deserted Western set in Hollywood. The group is infamously known for the murder of up-and-coming Hollywood actress Sharon Tate and several of her friends. Tate appears as a character in this film, played by Margot Robbie. She isn't in a whole lot of the movie, and she doesn't have very many speaking lines, which comes off to me like an effort on Tarantino's part to be respectful of the real Sharon Tate, since this film isn't supposed to be a biopic or anything like that. Even with as little dialogue as she has, though, Robbie does a great job in the role, getting across the enthusiasm of this young actress who's just excited to be able to see herself on the big screen.
I did want to walk into every room and look around and kind of have the body language that signals I'm open for this experience and for whatever it is, and I'm excited.
In fact, this entire movie is a love letter to the golden age of Hollywood, which was just about wrapping up in 1969 when the film takes place. The costumes, sets, props, hair, makeup, everything feels 100% authentic for that place and time, including tons and tons of references to different people, places, events, and of course films from that era. The guy who plays Bruce Lee is especially funny.
My hands are registered as lethal weapons. We get into a fight, I accidentally kill you. I go to jail.
Anybody accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter.
I love a lot of the little details here, like how whenever there's a sequence that's meant to be an excerpt from an old television program or a film, you can always tell that they're being shot with the same types of cameras and sound equipment that would have been available at the time. It makes these bits indistinguishable from the actual film and television footage that's also frequently put up on the screen. Notably, this movie seems to be taking place in the same universe as one of Tarantino's other films, Inglourious Basterds. One of Leo's many old roles that we see in flashback appears to be from a movie fictionalizing the events of what would be, in-universe, the ending of World War II from Inglourious Basterds. The connection is never explicitly confirmed by the movie, but it's neat to think about, especially considering the few other creative liberties this film takes with actual events. There's even 1 or 2 occasions where new footage that's being shot for this movie is seamlessly integrated into classic films, including an extended sequence where we get to see Leonardo DiCaprio auditioning for the lead role in one of my favorite movies. Now, I got a big kick out of that sequence, but someone who hasn't seen the movie that's being referenced may not get as much out of it. Well, I think most movie buffs will really enjoy Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It may start to drag if you have no interest in any of this stuff. I'm not saying you need to be into this to enjoy the movie. The characters and dialogue are more than capable of carrying the film on their own. However, its runtime is quite long, at over 2 hours and 40 minutes. For what it's worth, though, I didn't feel the length. I don't think this is Quentin Tarantino's greatest film ever, but it's not the worst either, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, even if if I can admit that it's not going to be for everyone. However, anybody looking for a smartly written, well-directed, and terrifically acted throwback comedy film about the golden age of the American film industry will enjoy Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Go check it out. And also, stay through the credits.
That was the best acting I've ever seen in my whole life.
Thank you.
And if you like this video, help me out by hitting the like button, subscribing for more, and ringing the bell to stay up to date on all of my latest stuff. Let me know down in the comments any of your thoughts on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or of any of Quentin Tarantino's other movies. As always, thanks so much to all of you guys for watching, and take care.